Hi, welcome back to Money Matters. I'm Strat Carter, and as I said before, we're here with Philip Babb from the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited, and we're still on the subject of short-term financing. So Philip, the next question I have for you is, okay, I'm coming in and I want to get a line of credit. What would I need to provide to the loans officer? What kind of documentation would I need to bring with me?
All right. The line of credit, as we say, is basically an unsecured loan. For that, if you're a first-time borrower, for example, you need your job letter and your recent pay slip. That's for the line of credit. Now, in terms of other short-term financing, other short-term loans that we have, depending on the type of loan that you're requesting and the purpose, then the documentation that you would need to supply to us would pertain to that particular reason for the loan. For example, travel, we would ask you for the itinerary or copy of the ticket that you have purchased or about to purchase. Well, if you haven't purchased it, but usually the itinerary. Right. For example, wedding, we ask you for information that indicate that there's a wedding taking place, you know, a letter from the priest, for example. Funeral expenses, the invoice from the funeral home. And with all of these, you must supply your most recent pay slip if you're a current borrower. If you're a new borrower, job letter, pay slip, and then the documentation for the specific loan. What if
the person is self-employed? How would that change the type of documentation?
Self-employed persons, what we will need from that particular individual would be an indication of their financials, their income, expenses relating to the particular operation that they have, so that we can get a sense of how much money is made, how much money is spent, so that they're in a position to pay this loan. We have a team that will assess those financials and come up with a recommendation so that we can proceed appropriately.
So Philip, what about things like medical expenses and debt consolidation? I know debt consolidation is probably like a hot button issue, considering the economic climate. Do y'all provide facilities for those things as well?
Yes, we provide short-term finances for both of those loans as well. Medical, we usually ask our members to bring a letter from the hospital or the doctor indicating that a procedure is taking place. He or she does not have to say what it is. We don't want to go into that personal information. Right. And that letter will just indicate that there's a particular operation, surgery taking place, and may outline the cost. For example, things like maternity usually have a breakdown of costs from the gynecologist, for example, and the letter from, say, Babb or even the QEH, where cost is outlined and stuff like that. Debt consolidation, bills, which is, you know, as you rightly said, is big on everybody's mind these days, with the rising expenses that they're experiencing. Person will need to supply us the statements from the particular institution that they have to pay. Letters from, again, whether institution or company that has to be repaid. So things like credit card statements, even if it's even if it's a loan at another financial institution, they will supply a letter from the institution, whereby then we have documented proof that that is where the money will be utilized.
Okay, I know it's short term, but how long would a person have to repay, especially in the case of debt consolidation?
With all short-term facilities, the loans are usually tailored to meet the member's ability to repay over a given period of time. I would have mentioned earlier that loans don't really exceed 10 years. So you can go as much as 5 years, 6 years, depending on that person's ability. We know most of our members and most of the persons out there are under financial strain. So as I say, we tailor those loans to suit that person's ability to service the loan comfortably, because we want to ensure that the person pays the loan and still be able to meet the other household expenses. Other short-term loans also we could even relate to, we call real estate, home improvement. Right. You know, Christmas is coming up, person looking to improve around the home, you know. And
usually place, bike curtains, that kind of thing.
Make it looking good.
Yeah.
We usually ask them to provide us with a written signed estimate from the builder, or even the invoice from one of the established hardware stores in which they are going to purchase the materials and provide a signed estimate for the cost for the work to be done.
We've been talking all this time about the various short-term loans and so on and the benefits to members. But I was curious, does one have to be a member in order to access these facilities?
Yes, you must be a member.
You must be a member.
You must be a member of the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Membership is open to everyone.
Right.
And to join, if you do not belong to another credit union, and even if you do, you can still join. Okay. We will have you approved under what we call dual membership of the credit unions. $125, 2 forms of valid photo ID. Right. And we usually ask you to have a documented proof of address where you are. That's used to satisfy, the regulatory requirements. And once you join today, you can apply today. Really? Yes. Okay.
That leads to another question. If I join today, I can apply today, but how long would it normally take for an approval to come back for any type of facility?
We endeavor right now to have these loans approved within a 2-day span.
Wow, 2 days?
Yeah. Okay. Depending on the complexities of the loan, or if there's any difficulties, it may take longer than that, and we try not to go past 5 working days, for example. All right. And then it all depends on the volume of loans coming in at the point in time. So there's some mitigating factors that may take longer, but usually within 2 days, within 5 working days, you should be having your check or funds on your account.
Right. On your Co-Optima card.
Or having your Co-Optima advance card. Right. And you're about to shop. Yes.
Okay, Philip, so tell me, does a member need to have money saved before applying for a facility? And if so, how much? Is there a limit and a specified amount that you need to have?
Yes and no. Now, at the credit union, each loan carry different deposit requirements. We at the credit union try to promote the whole idea of thrift and other ways of saving. So when you join, we encourage you to save and build your savings, because we want you to have a asset base. Right. When you apply for a particular loan, as I say, each loan may have a different amount for that loan. Now, if it is that you do not have it, because right now most persons may not have that money, we can include that deposit within the loan application for you. Recently, we have run our vehicle loan campaign, right? And part of that initiative would have been that we give you the deposit when you apply for your vehicle as well.
So that amounts to 100% financing for your vehicle, basically?
Basically.
Okay.
100% financing, yes.
Was there a limit in terms of the age of the car?
Once the vehicle can be insured comprehensively by an insurance company, we will finance it for you.
Okay, Philip. So this scenario, I am the prospective borrower. What is the maximum amount that I can be approved for at any point in time for any type of loan?
All right. Any type of loan, all members are eligible to apply for up to $600,000. Now, here's the thing. The larger the amount, it may mean a longer repayment period. Right. In order for you to be in a position to service it. Now, if you can service a loan over a shorter period of time, right, then you can. Okay, let me say debt consolidation now. For example, a person may have a large amount of debt in which they need to, let me say, consolidate, bring together to reduce that payment. But the amount may be maybe over 100,000. Yeah. Now, if it is that they can pay that back within a short period of time, then that loan may be a short-term loan. But if they're looking for flexibility, it may stretch them a bit longer, and then technically it becomes a long-term loan as a result. So it depends on the request, it depends on the amount. But $600,000 is available to each member, but that depends on the person's ability to service the loan, as well as providing security to cover the amount that they want to have.
Right, because I would imagine you're not going to necessarily lend $600,000 on an unsecured basis.
No, that's why I said security.
Right.
What we have is that $20,000 unsecured is your maximum. Right. Okay. There is some leeway to go to as much as $25,000, depending on the person's credit standing with us, and depending on the nature of that request. For example, if it's what we consider to be emergency, medical, maybe even educational, and also maybe debt. And if, in other words, give you that extra $5,000 once you qualify for it, puts you in a better financial position, then yes, you can get it. So, but $20,000 unsecured. When it goes over that, then you will need to provide some form of security. And when we say $20,000 unsecured, what I'm saying is that the difference between what you have in savings and the amount that you want, if that difference is 20, then you're good. If it goes over 20, then security is needed if you need to get that additional money.
Okay, understood. So how are the loan repayments structured?
Okay, what our officers will do in assessing a member, assessing the particular loan and the particular amount. Payments are usually structured on person's ability. We look to see that we want to give a person the comfort of paying us and being able, as I think I mentioned earlier, servicing the other household expenses. So usually loans may be structured anywhere from 1 year to as much as 5, maybe 6 years, depending on that person's ability to, other expenses that they have. When we look at both income and expenses. So it varies depending on a member's situation. It will not be the same for everyone, right? But generally speaking, loans may be around a 3 to 5 year period.
So in terms of the repayment then, is it always a case where there must be a monthly payment? Can it sometimes be different lump sum payments that are not necessarily so structured? Do you give like a moratorium depending on the person's situation?
For short-term finances, no. It's always a monthly, weekly, or semi-monthly payment, depending on the person's salary payment, how they're paid monthly. There are no moratoriums, so you either pay weekly, semi-monthly, twice a month, or monthly. Moratoriums will only come into play when a person's may fall into financial difficulties, and that's where our loans recovery comes in.
Right.
It's where we now look to find a solution to get you out of that particular situation, where we may have to delay the request for full payment for a period of time, right? After we've assessed the member's particular financial situation.
I think there's a misconception
What's that?
in the general public about what the role of loan recovery is. I think when people hear loan recovery or collections, they immediately think, oh Lord, I'm in trouble.
Well, strange enough, over the last year, what we tried to do within our loans recovery department is probably have it look more at a payment solution, right? So our emphasis is not really on debt collection,
right,
but debt management and finding solution to assist our members out of the financial difficulties that they may be experiencing at this point in time. So we look for a more software approach, and we try now to satisfy the mandate of the credit union, the Babb Public Workers Corporate Credit Union Limited. So we look for payment solutions, and every situation is going to be different because persons have different circumstances that may be affecting them. So we don't want to be seen as bailiff, collector, lawyer. Granted, there are situations that will probably reach that stage when there is no other recourse, because again, everyone is not the same. So some persons may be willing to pay but refusing to pay. So
true.
You have to go to the extreme. But generally speaking, it's a payment solution. Looking for a solution to really, solve a bad situation and help members feel comfortable and things. The important thing is though that any member who finds themselves in financial difficulty and cannot pay or cannot meet the payment is to make contact with us and let us know, and so that we can start the processes early, because if you can't pay in 1 month, there's no way you can pay in 3 and 4.